So as long as I can remember, early extension has been the #1 problem in my golf swing. And this goes back to even my junior golfing days. Whether it's thrusting into the ball, backing away, maybe a little slide mixed in. Over the 26 plus years I've been playing golf, I really believe that pattern has been the biggest issue for me in my golf swing and ball striking. But today I want to share with you one drill, perhaps the only drill that has really helped me get away from early extension and that thrusting pattern and really start to stay in my posture a little bit better, flex a little in transition, and be able to unwind as well. So I provide a lower handle through the strike and stop rising up at impact. And as you can see in that side-by-side, that drill really forced me to stay down and through the shot and keep my space, keep my pelvis back so I could keep my chest down and really flush that shot.
It's just second nature. Just second nature. Just second nature.
So Henry Fall here of Milo Lines Golf. I'm really excited to share with you this drill. I really think it's going to help you with your early extension. But first, if you are new here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. I come out with new videos regularly, and we'll be sharing more with you in the future. So let's get right into it. Let me show you this drill. And it's super simple, and you don't need anything extra. You just need your club and a golf ball. So here's how it works. All you're going to do is wherever you normally take your grip, I want you to move it on down a little bit. We're going to get basically my pointer finger right on the end of the grip. You could go even a little lower if you want, but we're going to start there. So pointer finger right on the end of the grip. So I've got about 4 inches on the end of that handle now. Okay, so what I've done here is I've shortened this club, and it's going to require me to get down to the ball. I have to hinge a little bit, flex a little bit. The pelvis can't shoot in or else I'd miss the ball, right? I'd miss right over it. Even if I lengthen my arms, it's going to be a challenge to get to that ball. I'm going to hop on down in here, and my goal is to get down a little lower, get that handle nice and low, and that is the total opposite pattern of what you would see from early extension or thrusting into it. So let's see how we do. Get set up here, make a little rehearsal. So I got to get down in there. There you go, not bad. Nice little straight shot. Still went pretty far, and that got me in some different positions than maybe I'm used to, an exaggeration, we might say. Now, before you run off and just do this drill for yourself, I want you to stick around because I'm going to show you exactly why this drill is so effective, how to properly do it, because it's really important, and then I'm going to share with you a couple alternatives and exercises that go along with this that's only further helped make that early extension disappear in my own golf swing, and I think it's going to help you too. Really, it's all about creating space and retaining some space, retaining our angle. So just to simplify, let's just cover this real quick. If I'm in my golf posture, nice and kind of relaxed, let's just really point out what early extension is. It's basically if I put this club on my belt buckle here, you're somehow pushing that belt buckle up and into the ball, okay? Up and into the ball. So that's usually you're actually going to see the head and chest backing away, the pelvis shooting in, maybe the thigh shooting in. You're taking away that space. I had a PGA coach back in the day at Level 1 seminar, and she told me it's like a sacred area, okay? You got to keep that sacred area. You don't want to invade that. We want to maintain or even feel like we're increasing space. You probably won't. You probably will have some extension, but to come from this, that's not going to be a very effective way to be hitting the golf ball where the handle's rising, you're thrusting into it. I'd rather see some amount of space, some depth, just like we see from a lot of the great players throughout history. The state I'm kind of looking to get into would be more what we call like a hinge state. And if you've been following along for a little while, you probably know from my time working with Milo Lines, this is a big proponent of our coaching, is how do we get into a little bit more of that flexed or hinge state. So we like to really call it a hinge. So not necessarily like a squat state where you're sort of dropping down and back, right? Because now you've actually backed away from the ball and your spine, you're not really covering the ball, you're not really down on it. We like to think of it more of a hinge state. So a real simple exercise. Butt of the club on your nose here, another the shaft connected to your belt, and then just kind of taking this straight line and hinging back. So you see how my pelvis is going back and my chest is going down. So that's a nice exercise that Zach on our team covers at our golf schools with a lot of students. I think it's a really good one. If you're looking to create more of that hinge state and understand how we're using our legs, how we're using our glutes to be able to drop in and yet keep our chest on top of the ball. So it's more of a hinge, maybe not so much of a squat, more of a hinge. And how this drill really helps us is by shortening the club. You have to get down to that ball somehow. You have to be okay with having your head and chest down and out here, making room for that handle, because if you don't, you'll probably hit yourself. You maybe have seen this drill used by some of the best players, including Scottie Scheffler.
And then when I turn through, I got to get my rear end out of the way, which is one of the things we've been working on for years.
Let's go back to this drill, and we're going to do some slow, because I want you guys to just develop this pattern slow. Don't go crazy. Don't hit as far as I did on that first one. That was a little bit for show, but I would be setting up where the pointer finger is almost on the shaft. I might get a fraction wider just so I can feel like I can get down to the ball comfortably. Maybe I'll do it off a tee at first. That would probably be a good starting point, just so you don't have to lower too much. This isn't necessarily about hitting golf shots from down here. We don't have to go crazy. We just need a little bit. So if I go slow, I'll try to make that pattern. So you see how I went down a little bit. The handle was much lower than you saw in some of those older videos of my swing, and that created a lot of nice space for me. Let's do one more. So I'm going to set up, really feel that handle down, the handle going up. That could be kind of a good sensation as well. If the handle's going up, I'm probably thrusting into it. So I got to kind of keep the handle a little down. That keeps my chest down, that keeps my pelvis back, because now I have space. Handle down, chest down, butt back. So then I can hit little shots like that, and that's the total opposite of pushing into it, okay? I wouldn't worry so much about the result. I'd worry more about the movement. Get yourself on video, see if you're doing it correctly, and then kind of go from there. So the reason I really like this is, one, it's super simple, but it's really forcing you to stay back and keep that space, but also have that chest down. So many of you are so afraid of having your head and chest out here, covering the ball and striking it this way. You're backing up, you're standing up, this is all pushing in. I really like to look at the angle between my thigh and my chest. Can I kind of keep that, or maybe even make it slightly more acute in transition versus opening it up quite so much. Let's hit one more for good measure, and then I'm going to show you guys a few alternatives to this to make it stick even more. So here we go, nice and slow, and you could even hit one slow motion just like that. That was pretty good. So you really saw how I was down in here. Totally different pattern. Right arm was more bent, handle was a little lower, and yes, it was a little push out to the right, but I'm totally fine with that. It's just building that new pattern. So now let's get into just a few little things, little tweaks you can add to this drill to really level it up and make that early extension really disappear for good, okay? So number one, really simple one, you can grab a chair basically just off of me. So I'm gonna still do the grip down. I can feel it about an inch off me. Now in transition, I wanna feel like I get in, I'm actually starting to push that chair back. So let's see if I can go slow and try and almost push that chair back. Yeah, so I really felt like I had to go back. As you're doing this, just make sure you're not adding extension in that lumbar spine. You still want to be nice and flat and sort of relaxed. Upper rib cage relaxed too. I don't want to start seeing this to make it go back. We're not pushing our butt out. We're moving pressure, and we're just kind of feeling back. We're not opening up so much there. So that's a good one. Another one I like is to grab a resistance band for this one. And I got it on a 50-pound dumbbell here on the ground. And so I've got a pretty good pull going that way against me, right? So what I'm gonna do here is step inside of that and put it around my backside, just under my belt. So it's basically on the top of my glutes here. So, and it's pulling me that way. I can feel it. I gotta fight it a little bit. So then just from here, doing some simple wind and unwinds. I got my feet moving a little bit so I can feel the back and away. Really love this exercise. So the chair drill, you can think of it this way. The chair behind is kind of like a guide, right? Now you do have to work for it a little bit, right? But it's not really like challenging you all that much. Whereas this is really resisting you. This is really pulling you. And you have to now really activate some different, basically the back chain, to stay a little bit more in your bends, a little more in that hinge state. And even the pressure in your feet's a little different. It's way less, ooh, if I go that way, I'm falling into it. So there's a little more back to it. Really like that one. Love the feeling, and it's a pretty sweet exercise. Let's see if I can take that into a shot. Let's just see if I can hit a normal one here with that feeling. Oh yeah, I can really feel the backing away and using my legs and my glutes there. Oh yeah, that was nice. You can see I was backing away. Not bad for a little 8-iron there. So that felt nice. That was whoosh, like that. So really, really like that one. If you guys go to the gym or if you're warming up before a round, that's an awesome one. Kind of along with that, and I've given this to a lot of students over the years. We're indoors here in the lab today, so I'm not outside, but normally I would have them hit balls where the ball's below their feet. As you can see, I'm kind of on a ramp here. And what I'm gonna do is, because everything's pulling me that way, out and that way, I have to feel like my legs are a little more engaged, my pelvis and hips are kind of loaded and back, and I can kind of stay back. And let's see if I even do a little of that grip down. Can I kind of stay in it and hit a little shot here? So you're gonna feel a little flat-footed. It's gonna feel a little weird, but that could be a good one. You know, if you really struggle ball below your feet on the golf course, it's probably because you're kind of thrusting or extending, and then your arms take over. Most people think the ball's gonna go way right off that lie, but a lot of times with shorter clubs, you actually hit pulls. Because you're going so far this way, your arms just take over, shut the face down, hit it left if you're a right-handed golfer. So that's a really good one. Hit some balls below your feet. The above the feet one's not bad either, but again, that's almost like a little more of a guided one. This one, to me, is a little bit more of a resisted one where you really have to work for it to stay in it. Okay, so the very last one that I really like to tie into everything is the G-box, okay? Now, I don't always love training aids. I think through the many years I've been coaching now, I feel like I use them less and less. This one I use a lot. I really, really like it for multiple reasons. The reason I like it here for early extension is that you really have to, with this belt on, what I like about it is you almost have to feel like you squeeze into it a little bit. Now you put the box there kind of on that seam line in the back so your arm doesn't get trapped. That could be good. If you are moving into it, you might be experiencing that with that right arm for sure. I've never really had a challenge with that one, but what I really like is feeling like I can squeeze this belt a little bit there in transition, make that hinge state come to be and get out of that early extension state, right? So I really like the belt for that reason. I feel like, okay, I get a sensation there. Now, if you didn't have a G-box, you could just think of your belt same way. How can I create that little crease or that little squeeze? You know, put your shaft there even if you need to feel that. So how can I create that? Let me do that little grip down state. Feel that with the G-box and see if I can hit a little chipper. That was pretty good. And you can just see how that lead side gets back and away. I got plenty of room so I can unwind and get through that shot. Really good training aid. I like that you can hit full shots with it. You don't feel like you're gonna hurt yourself really. Gotta move this just a little bit. I've used it in a lot of lessons, do a bunch of different things with it too. I'll put the box on the lead side, put it on the shoulder sometimes, do some funny things. But really what this one's after is feeling that squeeze, feeling that box stay back, even in the backswing and even in transition. So I'm not pushing that box out in front of me. I'm keeping that back, keeping in more that hinge state. Let's see if I can hit a good one here full with that box. So that was pretty good. I felt back and away on that one. Hair off the toe, but pretty good. So really good one there, and goes right in line with all the other little alternatives I've shown for you here. Do you need training aids for this? No, I think if you could get good at this little grip down drill, as I showed you, that Scottie Scheffler and some other great players have used throughout history, that little grip down drill could be the game changer for you. Just start with some of these little dinky ones. And it's like, man, finally my chest and head stayed more on top of the ball. Finally my pelvis stayed back. And then add in some of those little exercises to really drive that point home, feel the sensation outside of the golf course too. So you're doing some movements to further feel that pattern so you can take it into your next session and your next round of golf. I might even, just as a rehearsal, if I was in the golf course, grip down, feel like I don't cut myself, I didn't invade the space, I have that sacred area still intact. Boom, get that feeling, step into the shot. Let's see if we can do a good job of maintaining that more or less. Pretty good. So that's nice. I really feel like I got room there. And yeah, there's going to be a little backing away. Yeah, there's going to probably be a little extension. You're going to see that in almost every golf swing. But doing maybe a little of the extreme, it's kind of like a bookend, right? If you're a slicer, let's make you into a hooker or a drawer, right? We kind of have to find bookends so we can find more neutral, because hitting shots this way is just no fun and tends to create some pain and really some poor strikes. So if you're tired of early extension, really frustrated by it, just like I am, I encourage you to try out this drill and some of the alternatives here. I really think it could help. And it takes time. I've been doing these exercises for probably 10 years at this point. And am I perfect? No, of course not. But I've slowly moved in the direction I'm after. And that's the key, is that it's probably going to be the same patterns for you over time, but you just kind of got to stick with it, keep going with it, and hopefully bring about that change. Use some video, maybe work with a coach. So if you guys do need some one-on-one coaching, but I coach here in person in Phoenix, Arizona. We also have our online academy, me and Milo. So come on over to mylinesgolf.com. You get swing analysis every 2 weeks and our sort of whole program. I encourage you to try that out. And again, if you are new here, make sure you subscribe. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.